Now, the reason that the White House had gone after the Associated Press is because they said, my God, there's a dangerous leak that came from the Associated Press about this new underwear bomber attack that we had foiled. But we had an inside source there, and the AP gave that source away, and we lost our top secret informant. I can't believe they did this. And we were going to use that informant to get another, the top bomb maker that Al-Qaeda had in the Arabian Peninsula. Someone so dangerous, he targeted a Saudi prince. Now, wait a minute. Why are we going after the people who targeted the Saudi government? And why are we ready to do drone strikes, etc., on behalf of the Saudi government? But that's a side note. Okay, so now here's the only problem with that theory. The Associated Press article never mentioned an inside source inside Al-Qaeda. They never mentioned a mole. They never mentioned a spy. It's not stated at all. All the Associated Press article did was say that we foiled that attack. So where did that idea of the mole inside of Al-Qaeda come from? Well, as Mark Hosenbaugh reports at Reuters, it actually came from John Brennan, who's now the head of the CIA. Well played. Let me quote Reuters for you. White House efforts to soft pedal the danger from a new underwear bomb plot emanating from Yemen may have inadvertently broken the news they needed to most contain. At about 5:45 p.m. Eastern on Monday, May 7th, just before the evening newscast, John Brennan, President Barack Obama's top White House advisor on counterterrorism, that's what the position he held back then, and that was, of course, last year, held a small private teleconference to brief former counterterrorism advisors who have become frequent commentators on TV news shows. According to 5 people familiar with the call, Brennan stressed that the plot was never a threat to the U.S. public or air safety because Washington had inside control over it. Brennan's comment appears unintentionally to have helped lead to disclosure of the secret at the heart of a joint U.S.-British-Saudi undercover counterterrorism operation. So the original leaker, John Brennan, the top White House counterterrorism advisor. Why? He wanted all those flacks who were about to go on TV and brag about what a great job the administration had done in foiling this attack. He wanted to brag to them and say, ha ha, we had a guy on the inside. Oops. Since then, as I told you, he has been promoted. He's now the head spy at the CIA. I mean, if it wasn't ridiculous, it'd be hilarious, right? So they're targeting the AP. I can't believe the Associated Press gave that guy away, except we all read the article and they didn't. And it's clear as day, John Brennan is the guy who gave him away. By the way, Richard Clark is in that meeting. Richard Clark goes on ABC immediately thereafter and says, our government had inside control of the bomber, and it turned out that the guy who was going to do the bombing was our mole. And he took the bomb and he gave it to us. And by the way, the Associated Press held the story until he was safely out of the country, his handler was safely out of the country, and then we had used extra information from that mole to target and kill one of the top Al-Qaeda leaders in Yemen. And only after that leader was killed did the Associated Press run the story that they had been holding. So the Associated Press did nothing wrong. The guy who is clearly culpable is the head of the CIA now. And he got promoted after the fact. So all this brouhaha about, oh my God, I can't believe these irresponsible journalists are giving away top classified information is nonsense. It helps the Obama administration target journalists, try to turn them into bad guys, take away their First Amendment rights, while in fact, they're the leakers. That's the reality. By the way, if it wasn't for James Rosen and the whole Fox News nonsense, the Republicans would have let him get away with it completely. Now, it's not theoretical. We have him on tape. This weekend, Mitch McConnell went on the Sunday talk shows. Listen to what he said.
Actually, I do think these national security leaks are very important, and it looks to me like this is an investigation that needs to happen because national security leaks, of course, can get our agents overseas killed. What I am supportive of is investigating national security leaks that endanger Americans around the world. anytime you are leaking national security information that endangers Americans around the world, it's a serious matter.
If you didn't get that, that was Mitch McConnell for the first time in his life defending the Obama administration. These national security leaks are very important and very serious. So by all means, go after the Associated Press, go after journalists, go after the reporters. We're Republicans. We hate reporters. Justly, unjustly, it doesn't matter. Look, McConnell has this perfect golden opportunity to put the head of the CIA's head on a political stick, okay, and to take out one of Obama's top advisors. And he says, thanks, but no thanks, because I'd love to spy on and intimidate the press myself. Can't wait to do it later. This is the one thing that the Republicans and the Democrats agree on. The only problem is Obama screwed it up by going after a Fox News reporter, and now Fox News is going ballistic, and obviously they called the shots for a large part of the Republican Party. So now the Republicans will, afterwards, in hindsight, pretend to be outraged. But you just saw it for yourself right there. McConnell was not going after the administration. He was going after the so-called leakers at the Associated Press instead. Man, it is not Democrats versus Republicans. It's them versus us.